Hi guys, I wanted to share my 1-hour instructional technology workshop that I did with the staff at my school. To start off, I sent out a needs assessment survey to find out what types of technology the staff at my school would be interested in. Due to the fact that we are getting new whiteboards installed in the month of December, a lot of the staff had suggested that they would like training on how they could use the interactive whiteboards, effectively with their students. So we decided to look at the smart technologies and focus on Smart Notebook, which is a software app that's been downloaded into the laptops of everyone who teaches in Cobb County, or at least at the elementary level. What I did is I created this online website to use as both a guide for me while I was doing the training, as well as provide a resource for teachers to go back and look at after the training if they needed to have, more information or kind of wanted a refresher. I started off with the home page, and on the home page I went through the course objectives. I also put the assessment tools on here. I had a pre-test and a post-test, and this is where I gathered the information for me to create the evaluation tool and create the table that shared the data that was collected and allowed me to see kind of how successful the training was for the staff at my school. On the resources tab, this is where I put the handouts. You can see that there were quite a few handouts. We had an agenda, a promotional flyer, there's how to use Smart Notebook, how to create instructional games, which is part of the Smart Lab, and then I also added some interactive whiteboards, tips and tricks, just something that teachers could kind of have sitting on their desk they could refer to when they needed to, just for some different shortcuts. I also put additional ways to find Smartboard activities that wasn't necessarily in Smart Technologies, but just added some links in there so teachers would have something to go back and access. And then I also did a YouTube video of the 1-hour training, and this is a YouTube video clip in case the teachers needed to go back, and look at that kind of as a refresher at a later date. The way I divided this up was the different pieces of the Smart Notebook. You can see there's Smart Notebook, Smart Exchange, Smart Lab, and the Smart Suite Online. And each of these is sort of a piece of the Smart Notebook. The Smart Notebook allows users to create interactive presentations and offers a variety of ways to enhance the interactive lessons for their students. So each one of these pages has a sort of short introductory video explaining what this piece is, exactly like. And then it also has a video tutorial on each page. Now on this page you can see there's a Smart 17 user manual, there's a skills toolkit, and there's also 5 tips and tricks for using Notebook. Again, another shortcut, resource for teachers to access if they'd like. Smart Exchange is another tab that I put on here, and this is an area where teachers can go in and search for ideas and activities and lesson plans and so forth. They can browse by subjects, by grade levels, by the different types of files they want. It also allows teachers to collaborate with each other and share ideas on things that have worked, that haven't worked, and so forth. Again, there's a video tutorial if teachers need to go back and look to see exactly how the Smart Exchange works. The next tab I focused on was the Smart Lab. This is another area of the Smart Technologies that this area allows teachers to go in and create instructional games that can be created within less than 5 minutes. The students can play them whole group as learning stations, in teams, and they can also now play them one-on-one on their device. So that's a new kind of aspect to the Smart Technologies program. And again, there's a video introduction explaining what Smart Lab is like, as well as a video tutorial if teachers need to go back and just get a kind of a refresher on how Smart Lab works. Smart Suite Online is the next tab, and that's where we discussed how you can use these smart technologies from an online point of view. So this is where teachers can open Smart Notebook lessons anywhere and share them with any students on just about any device. Students can use their phones, tablets, PCs, and they can complete interactive assignments, at home and at their own pace. Again, this page has sort of an introductory video as well as a video tutorial for teachers to go back and access if they need a refresher. Now, just to make sure that the teachers could kind of see how Smart Technologies programming works, I also went in and created some lessons and games for them in ELA and in math. Now, my school only teaches 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. We are an intermediate school. So I put some different activities, and some links that they could go to either access the games and activities and lessons to see, what they're like, or they could actually use them in their classrooms. I did the same thing with mathematics so that they could use some of these types of activities, in their classrooms and kind of see what it is that smart technologies actually does. Now, like I said, our county is getting new interactive whiteboards, and they're being installed in December. So on the needs assessment that I sent out before designing the workshop, a lot of the teachers had stated that they would like to get a little bit of just basic information on the Simplicity smartboards. So I went ahead and added that in this training, and I put an introduction and general orientation video that I had found on the Simplicity Touch smartboards, as well as a button to the links for Cobb County School District, so they could go in and just kind of get as much information as they wanted on the Simplicity boards, so that hopefully they'll be a little more prepared, when the boards are installed. Now, when we look at the rubric, you can see for handouts, I had 5 handouts, so I'm at the advanced. They were easy to use, they were well developed, and I made sure that they were accurate with the content that was shared in the training. My online instructional component was created, like I said, not only for me to use as a guide during my training, but also for teachers to be able to go back and reference should they need refreshers or kind of reminders on how to do the different pieces of the smart technologies. So it did have the objectives listed. You could see that it's easy to use, it's well developed, the content was accurate, none of the links are broken, and the goal was to recap and extend participant learning. One thing that I made sure that I did during my training was at the end, I made sure to leave about 20-25 minutes so that teachers could go on the website, they could explore, they could practice with some of the different activities that were on there, and that way I could walk around and kind of help them while I was there, answer any questions that they may have had. For the additional elements, the lesson plan was included. I had multiple additional elements. I put the YouTube video link in there for the face-to-face instruction. I did include an instructional agenda. I did the promotional flyer, and I used the narrative description of the implementation, when I turned my project in. The workshop evaluation instrument, I did make sure that all the questions were based upon the levels of Guskey's levels of evaluation. I tried to make sure they were well thought out, all questions were valid, and all of them were based upon the online instrument and the online training. Everything was collected digitally, and you can see here that, I did also include the narrative as was requested. So hopefully you were able to get a good idea of what my 1-hour instructional technology workshop was like. I was able to get a very good positive response once it was over, and I was very pleased with, the teachers' reactions. Oh, I also went back and created for follow-up. Our school uses Microsoft 365, so we went in and created a Teams channel so that teachers could collaborate, different ideas for the smart technologies, and share ideas, as well as share any concerns or questions that they may have. I'm on the channel so that way I can help them, solve any problems that may come up. Thank you.